So, do you want to make them bigger? This is the first thing that the plastic surgeon says when he looks at me. And I'm sitting on the examination table with my hospital gown wide open. I exchange a quick, what the fuck glance with my mom, who's sitting on the chair behind him, and say, no, I'm perfectly happy with them as they are, actually. In other words, I'd rather not have to be doing anything to them in the first place, but here we are. I'm 32 years old, and it's been less than a week since my official diagnosis of invasive ductal carcinoma, also known as breast cancer. My tumor has spread so much throughout my right breast that it's been decided that I'll need to have a mastectomy and reconstructive surgery. I don't smoke, and I don't have a significant family history, so suffice to say, this news has come as a bit of a shock. And I'm a little bit more concerned with staying alive than I am with getting a free boob job out of the situation. The plastic surgeon continues to explain the reconstruction process. They will simply lift up my pec muscle and place the implant underneath because it looks better that way. I say that sounds pretty painful, and I express some concern over how that might affect my range of motion, seeing as I'm pretty active. He replies, it'll be fine. Takes around 5 weeks to heal. He continues to explain another reconstruction option where fat is removed from the abdomen because it creates a more realistic looking shape. He then looks down at my stomach, though, and cracks a joke that I might have enough fat to work with after I have a few kids, but for now, we better stick with an implant. My mom and I decide to get a second opinion. That night, I go for a 10-kilometer run around Mount Royal at dusk. Movement has always been my medicine. No matter how hard or messy life gets, I've always found it easy to just put on a pair of running shoes or grab my yoga mat, get out there, and get it done. And I always feel better for having done it. Enamored by the dusty pink skyline that's poking through the trees, I suddenly trip over a root that's sticking out of the ground, and I fall flat on my face. I get up, dust myself off, and I keep going. I feel keenly alive. I make a pact with myself that no matter what happens, I won't compromise the way that my body works just so it can look better. During the second opinion, we're relieved to find out that there is such a thing as a pre-pectoral reconstruction, where the chest wall is left entirely alone. The recovery time is quicker, and there is less chance of complications. When my hospital gown is tied back up, plastic surgeon number 2 asks, "And are you happy with your current size?" Yes, I am. The big day comes, and it's time to say goodbye to righty. Everything goes as well as it could. In order to make sure that my new breast heals in the right shape, I'm given this rock-hard tissue expander. It juts out kind of comically from my chest, and I can't help but notice that it's significantly larger than my left breast, which confuses me a little bit. During my first appointment, post-op, I expressed this confusion to the resident who's checking up on me. He eagerly replies, "Oh, not to worry. They can always put an implant in the left side to even things out if I want." Oh, gee, thanks. I think I'll pass. Maybe it's just me, but I don't like the idea of cutting into my perfectly healthy left breast, potentially severing more nerve endings, and definitely enduring more pain, just so I can more closely resemble some outdated societal ideal. And besides, in 2019, we all know that big butts are all the rage anyway. Like, come on. There are many more occasions where it's assumed that I'll want to go bigger when the time comes to remove the tissue expander. All these 20-something-year-old male residents at the plastic surgeon's office seem to be trying to communicate something to me about my body that I should already be aware of, but I refuse to play along. I spend a lopsided year and 3 months with the tissue expander in, and a lot happens during that time. I do the whole chemo and radiation thing, and all my hair falls out. I start a new job. A global pandemic arises. I move into an apartment on my own, and I get a cat, and my hair starts to grow back curly. It's not curly anymore, but that's another story. I continue to move my body as much as I can, no matter what, and my range of motion pretty much returns back to normal on my right side. Right on the verge of the second wave in Montreal, the dreaded code red creeping in, the time finally comes for me to swap out that tissue expander in favor of a nice, squishy silicone implant. Pre-op, my plastic surgeon dares ask, "And will you be wanting to do anything to the left?" "Don't touch it!" I interrupt, my eyes glaring above my mask. "Please don't touch it." He gets the message. Because I did radiation, they have to make another incision, a new mark to add to my permanent collection. But no one will notice with my clothes on anyway. "That's the point," my plastic surgeon says to the resident standing beside him. And it's true. I can go about my day in just about any outfit, and no one would know the difference. But at the same time, I don't want to hide. This is a part of who I am. My body has unfailingly continued to carry me through this world with grace and strength, and it continues to do so. In fact, I just signed up for my first ever marathon last week. Whew. When I look in the mirror, I like what I see, clothed and unclothed. And the liking feels like a rebellious act. For me, bigger isn't better. Thank you.